You want to know what makes people regret losing you? It's not begging. It's not posting sad quotes online. It's not trying to make them jealous. And it's definitely not sitting around waiting for them to realize what they lost. Most people get this completely wrong. The moment someone leaves, they panic. They send another text, then another. They check social media every hour. They ask mutual friends for updates. They replay old conversations over and over in their head. And without realizing it, they make the biggest mistake possible. They make their entire life revolve around someone who already walked away. Here's the truth. People rarely regret losing someone who keeps chasing them. They regret losing the person who stopped chasing, the person who disappeared, the person who quietly started building a better life, the person who became stronger without needing anyone's approval. That's where everything changes. And the first step is silence. Real silence. Not silence to get attention. Not silence to play games. Not silence because you're trying to manipulate them. Silence because you're finally choosing yourself. No more random texts. No more checking their stories. No more liking old photos. No more finding excuses to stay connected. No more asking friends what they're doing. Nothing. Complete silence. I know what you're thinking. Won't they forget about me? Actually, the opposite usually happens. Think about something that's always available. You rarely appreciate it. You rarely notice it. It's just there. But the moment it's gone, suddenly you become aware of how much space it occupied in your life. People work the same way. When you're always available, you become predictable. When you're always chasing, you become expected. But when you disappear and focus on your own life, something changes. Questions begin to appear. Why aren't they texting me anymore? Why aren't they checking on me? Why do they seem okay? Why did they suddenly move on? And those questions become louder than anything you could have said. But here's the secret. You are not disappearing to make them miss you. You're disappearing so you can rebuild yourself. Because whether they come back or not, your life still matters. And once you truly understand that, your energy changes completely. Now let's talk about another mistake almost everyone makes. They stop talking to the person, but they never stop talking about the person. They tell every friend a story. They replay every detail. They discuss every message. They analyze every little thing. They keep the person alive in their mind every single day. And that's exactly why they stay stuck. Every time you talk about someone, you give them more power. Every time you replay the story, you reopen the wound. And eventually, word gets back to them. Maybe through mutual friends, maybe through social media, maybe through someone else. And when they hear you're still talking about them constantly, they think one thing, good, they're still attached. They're still thinking about me. They're still waiting. And that gives them all the power. Strong people don't do that. When someone asks about the situation, they say, I'm focused on other things now. That's it. No drama. No emotional speech. No long explanation. Someone wants details. You change the subject. Someone wants gossip. You smile and move on. Because your future is more important than repeating your past. And when that person eventually hears you're not talking about them anymore, something strange happens. They begin wondering why. They expected you to be devastated. They expected you to be stuck. They expected you to keep chasing. Instead, they hear you moving forward. And that's when the first feeling of regret begins. Now comes the most powerful step of all. You level up, not for them, for yourself. This is where most people fail. They spend months thinking about the person who left. Meanwhile, successful people spend those months improving. They start going to the gym. They learn new skills. They read more. They build better habits. They start new projects. They spend time with people who appreciate them. They improve their confidence. They improve their health. They improve their mindset. Little by little, they become someone stronger. And here's the amazing thing. People notice. Your friends notice. Your family notices. Your coworkers notice. They see the difference. They see more confidence, more energy, more purpose, more happiness. And eventually, the person who left notices too. Maybe they see a photo. Maybe they hear something through a friend. Maybe they randomly run into you one day and suddenly they realize something they never expected. You're doing better without them. That was never part of their plan. They thought you'd stay stuck. They thought you'd stay available. They thought they could come back whenever they wanted. But now they see someone who looks stronger, someone who looks happier, someone who looks more alive. And that's when regret hits hard because they realize something terrifying. You don't need them anymore. They thought they were your future. Now they realize they were only one chapter, and you've already started writing the next one. At this point, something interesting often happens. They reach out. Maybe it's a random message. Maybe it's a like on an old photo. Maybe it's a comment. Maybe it's a late night text saying, "Hey, how have you been? I miss you." Most people get excited right here. They think, this is it. They finally came back, and they instantly become available again. They respond immediately. They drop everything. They give all their attention. And just like that, they lose all the progress they made. Because the other person immediately realizes something. Nothing changed. They still have you. This is why you need to stay calm. If someone genuinely regrets losing you, they'll do more than send a lazy message. They'll put in effort. They'll be consistent. They'll take responsibility. They'll show you through actions. Not breadcrumbs. Breadcrumbs are tiny pieces of attention designed to see if you're still available. Don't fall for them. You know your value now. You know your worth. You don't need random attention to feel important. You already are important. And that leads us to the final lesson. Live your life like you've already won. Not like you're trying to win. Not like you're trying to prove something. Not like you're waiting for them to regret losing you. Live like you've already won. Because you still have your future. You still have your goals. You still have your dreams. You still have people who care about you. You still have opportunities waiting for you. One person leaving doesn't take any of that away. The strongest people understand this. They stop waiting for validation. They stop waiting for closure. They stop waiting for someone else to choose them. Instead, they choose themselves every single day. And when you start doing that, people notice there's a different energy about you. You seem calmer, more confident, more focused, more attractive. Not because you're trying harder, but because you're no longer desperate. You're no longer chasing. You're no longer looking for someone else to complete you. And ironically, that's exactly what makes people regret losing you. Because they see what they gave up. They see someone loyal, someone strong, someone valuable, someone who kept growing. And they realize they let that person go. But here's the plot twist nobody talks about. By the time they finally regret losing you, you might not even want them back. Because during the process, something changed. You changed. You became stronger. You became happier. You became more confident. You became more independent. You built a life you genuinely enjoy. And now you're no longer waiting for them. You're no longer hoping. You're no longer wondering. You're simply living. That's the real victory. Not revenge. Not making them jealous. Not making them suffer. The real victory is becoming so happy with your own life that their decision no longer controls your future. If they come back, great. You get to decide whether they're worth your time. If they never come back, that's fine too. Because you're already moving forward, you win either way. So here's your challenge. Pick one step. Just one. Maybe you stop checking their social media. Maybe you stop talking about them. Maybe you start going to the gym. Maybe you start building a new skill. Maybe you start focusing on your future. Do it today. Then do it again tomorrow. Then the next day. And before you know it, weeks will pass. Then months. And one day you'll look in the mirror and realize something incredible. You're not the same person anymore. You're stronger. You're happier. You're better. And the person who left, they'll see it. They'll feel it. They'll regret it. But by then, you'll be far too busy living your best life to even notice. You've got this. Now go become the person they never expected you to be.